What jumped out at you in this earnings report, Doug?
Well, it wasn't so much the CapEx. It was really more about the cloud services number. I think that it needed to just be a little bit higher. And right now we are in an environment where you cannot miss at all. You cannot get anything wrong as a mega cap tech company. Google proved that last week, where I thought their numbers were generally fine. I thought Microsoft's numbers were, again, generally fine, but that's just not enough right now in this market, where I think investors are looking for any reason to say the AI boom is over and we want to exit tech.
I am curious, though, about when we talk about valuations. I mean, Microsoft was not necessarily one of the barn burners in the tech space. I mean, I would think it was only up about 12 or 13% year to date prior to that. And I know even at a 32 times projected earnings, there are some people say that that valuation's inflated. But I'm looking at the balance sheet here. This is still a lot of cash on the balance sheet, a lot of cash generated in the most recent quarter. And of course, when you talk about the services revenue here, this is still a juggernaut here. What more do people want?
I think that they want to see more from AI sooner than is reasonable. And this has been a theme that we've been talking about at Deepwater pretty consistently. I think the reality is we've seen for the last 12 months, these mega cap tech companies have been investing heavily in building out infrastructure for a future that they see that's just not here yet. And I think that this quarter has demonstrated more than any other quarter so far in that build out that investors are getting a little bit impatient. And I think the reality is this: we're going to work through this earnings. Other big cap tech companies may have similar commentary to the others that have reported, like Google and Microsoft already, because I do think it will take time for revenue to come from AI. It may still be a year plus away. So we need to have that expectations reset that we're getting here right now.
So is that a failure on the big tech companies' part for not communicating that properly to investors? That may be another year to come. It does seem interesting that all the investors seem to have coalesced around this idea that this is a show me quarter. Now you got to really show me that all the money you plowed in to AI is going to pay off right now.
I actually think about it in two worlds, Scarlett. Like, there are investors who really pay a lot of attention to the AI story and have become experts in it. And I think that those investors have been very well versed in the reality of how long this might take. And then I think on the other hand, there are investors who they see AI as this hot theme. I think they chase some of these names. And I actually think it's that component of investors who are probably the ones that are bailing right now. They're the ones that are impatient and maybe have these unreasonable expectations. I think as we continue to think about what is the path forward from here, this is kind of the bar reset quarter, it feels like right now, given what's happening with Microsoft. And to put it in context, though, we really haven't had that bar reset relative to AI expectations since AI took off 18 months ago. So I actually think this is probably a healthy part of the process, but it might still be painful for another few reports here that we get later this week.